I'm back with another awesome unboxing video. Once again, we're back with even more Sonic the Hedgehog figures, but this time we are looking at the new 2.5-inch wave, featuring classic Super Sonic and classic Amy Rose. That's right, we're finally back with some more 2.5-inch figures to look at, and as you can see, they are both part of the classic series, which is, based on the classic Sonic the Hedgehog style. And if you know me, I only really collect the classic 2.5-inch figures because they do scale with the 4-inch ones. If there's anything about me and action figures, I really like it when they scale very good to each other. So with no time to spare, let's just go ahead and look at them. And up first, we'll be taking a look at classic Super Sonic. And here he is, classic Super Sonic. So yeah, this is the Sonic of the wave, basically. It is a variation of Sonic. As you can see, it is Sonic in his super form, but the classic one. I mean, what else is there to say? He looks really nice. I love his expression. But one thing I noticed is that there's a little, I don't know if you can see that. See on his mouth there, there's like a little tiny line that goes up, and I don't think that's supposed to be there. Unless it is. You know, how I see it, it looks like it's a small little blemish, but at the same time, it could be him doing like a little cheek thing. Like he has like a little dimple, kinda. And his mouth is going to the side. I just realized that right now. It is a bit awkward because I thought the whole time it was just a little error. But I think that might be intentional. Because when I look on the back of the packaging, it doesn't really look like it's supposed to be there. Maybe slightly, but here it looks a little different, but that's just kind of a nitpick. But for everything else, he's pretty fine. I like that his pose is very standard. He's just kind of standing there. He doesn't have any weird pre-posed elements. I mean, kind of his arms are a little bent, but it's still just a standard, solid, standing figure. No bent knees, no like drastic poses in the elbows. I mean, he has an open hand for accessories, which is actually pretty surprising. I don't think a lot of the 2.5-inch figures have open hands, especially the classic ones. So that is pretty interesting. His articulation is same as most of them. 5 points, just the head, both arms, and both legs. And yeah, that's really all I gotta say about this figure. Very, very nice. Now let's move on to the one I'm most excited for. And the last character we will be looking at for this video is classic Amy Rose. Here she is, classic Amy Rose. I am very, very glad that they decided to finally put classic Amy in the line, which is just really great, because obviously I'm a big fan of Amy Rose, and I am very, very happy to have this figure. Now, overall, she looks pretty great. I don't really have many complaints. I think maybe there's a few. Not too many, but this is a really good figure. For a little figurine like this, it's got a lot of detail. So as you can see, she's got 5 points of articulation like all the other 2.5 inches. You can move both her arms, her head turns, and both of her legs also turn. It's very nice. No articulation from the shirt and the skirt. You got all her spines as they're supposed to be. She doesn't have a middle one. Her little tuft right there. And then everything down to her shoelaces. Nice orange painted, these really light blue shoes. Under the skirt also has some darker orange painting. I don't know if you can tell in that lighting, but it's like a darker orange underneath. That is very, very nice as well. But it is still very, very nice, very high quality. And now for the really only criticism I have, which I think is just the eyes. The eyes look very, like the pupils, specifically, look very big. And I mean, yeah, it makes her look cute, but like they look pretty big to me. I don't know. I think it's because on the early pictures of this figure, the backing never actually had eyes this big. I think you can tell kind of on this prototype shot that the eyes are a little different. So I can put them side by side without casting a shadow. Yeah, the pupils. The pupils are a little too big, but that's just kind of a nitpick. I'm just really glad that we have a classic Amy Rose, and I'm very excited to put her in with the other classic 2.5-inch figures and see how she scales with the modern Amy, which, as we know, has some scaling issues. But speaking of scaling, let's go ahead and move on to that. So here are the two new figures standing up on their own right next to each other, but if you notice, Supersonic isn't standing up all that right, because if you can't tell, his, one of his legs is like slightly longer than the other, and if you line them up together, you can kind of tell it just sticks out a bit more. Like, yeah, like look at that. It's not focusing very well, but look at that. It is definitely slightly longer. So in order to get him to stand, you kind of have to balance him on one foot, which is not too great if you ask me. With that being said, here is Sonic, regular 2.5-inch Sonic, which I actually modified, but you can tell what I did to it, then that's cool. But yeah, so here he is just standing there, and here is Supersonic, who has to balance on one foot. Now he is slightly taller. I mean, obviously probably because of the raised yellow spikes on top of his head. But yeah, that scaling's pretty good. I mean, I don't know how they could have possibly screwed that up. Obviously they kind of did, but whatever, they look pretty good together. Here is modern Supersonic and classic Supersonic. And you know what? They also look really, really good together. I think the scaling is not an issue at all. I don't have the Jazzwares Classic Supersonic, but this does the job just as well. I mean, they look awesome together. Really gives off old Sonic Generations vibes, you know? And here we have regular Classic Sonic and Classic Amy, and yeah, their scaling is also pretty alright. I mean, Amy is slightly shorter, not by that much, but still a bit smaller to know that she is actually supposed to be smaller than Sonic. So yeah, they scale pretty perfect together, I'd say. And now we're comparing the old Jazzwares Classic Amy figure and the new Jakks Pacific one. So first off, you can see that this Amy is standing kind of off to the side in a specific pose because the Jazzwares one doesn't balance that well, to be fair. You have to twist her legs in a way that she'll actually stand. As you can see, she's trying to fall now because both her feet aren't really planted on the ground. If I turn them forward, she will just fall over, which is not that great. But I do really like the mold, and I like that the pupils are very nicely portioned. There is detail under her skirt too. Same with the paint, you know, it's darker underneath, which is nice that they kept that detail in. I actually like the pose of the hands a lot better, and they kind of just flow off that way better. Now looking at Jakks, I do like that she stands really well. You know, her shoes, I guess if you turn her shoes around too much, or her legs, maybe she won't be able to stand. She isn't perfectly on the ground, but she can balance pretty well. Now, as I've said before, I don't really like the pupils. And another thing is the arms. The pose of the arms I don't like either. They're just kind of bent and to the side. I think you can push them down a bit, but it doesn't really capture, you know, Amy's sort of character as much as this one does. Which I forgot to mention, she has an open hand for accessories too, but I'm not sure what you would fit in there. I kind of feel like they should have given her a little version of the Pico hammer, but maybe there was some choking hazard thing and couldn't do it. Now, which one do I think is better? I kind of still like Jazzwares. I think Jazzwares did really well, minus the balancing issue. Like, she can not stand very, very well, as you can see. But I do like Jax's just as much. I mean, a little less, but it still stands very well and will look really good with the rest of them. And now here's the comparison to Jax's modern Amy figure and the classic Amy figure. She's a little short. A little on the short side, to be fair. I mean, that's how I feel about, you know, the other Jakks 2.5-inch ones. Now, you know what? I think the scale works pretty well, too. I mean, Amy is a little too tall, like we've all known this whole time. But they overall look pretty good together. It's just nice to finally have both iterations of the character in this line in figure form. I know there is a plush of Classic Amy, which I unfortunately was never able to pick up when it was around. But now she's in the figure form and she can join the Jakks family, I guess, of Sonic figures. And I'm just very, very, very happy to finally have her. And now here is just a lineup of all the 2.5-inch classic guys we got so far, and they just all look really good together. I'm really, really happy that they're actually focusing on doing classic characters in the 2.5-inch over the 4-inch. Now, I do like the 4-inch Sonic and Mighty they've made, but I honestly just prefer this because they do scale with the 4-inch figures pretty well. So here is the whole classic gang all together so far. I am very, very happy that we have Amy and Classic Supersonic to be added. I've said that a million times already, it feels. But I'm just really happy to have new figures, and I love the classic ones so much. Very excited. Next wave, we are getting Classic Knuckles, so we can finally have Classic Team Sonic. Yeah, what else can I say? Just another great set of figures from Jakks Pacific. I'm excited to see more, and yeah. Alright, that's the video. I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.